Hey everybody, Tekking here. I have a somewhat interesting story to tell you guys today. I don't know, maybe some of you might not find it that interesting, but I certainly did, so I thought I would share it with you guys. Okay, so I lost my name tag, my Dollar Tree name tag where I work, and this is actually the second one I lost. Yeah, the first one actually, I didn't really lose the first one. It kind of just got completely destroyed, but that's a story for another day. But yeah, I lost this name tag, and I went up to my assistant manager today when I went into work. I'm like, hey Kim, I need a new name tag. He's like, I lost my old one, and she's like, oh, okay, no problem. You know, I can make you a new one in a couple minutes. I'm just interested in knowing what happened to your old one. Like, how'd you lose it? And she's like, oh, okay, well, I'll tell you the story. See, on Christmas Eve, I'm walking home, I'm in my town, and it hasn't been, like, snowing here whatsoever, you know, it's weird. I live in the mountains of Pennsylvania. You think it would be, you know, this typical, you know, white Christmas atmosphere, you know, and it wasn't like that. It's no snow, it's just cold, it's damp, and it's not very fucking festive around here this time of year, but regardless, it was warm enough on December 24th for me to be, you know, out for a little stroll. So I'm walking home, and then out from the shadows rock these ninja elves. There's like 12 or 13 of these guys, and they're ninja elves. Now, honestly, they're the same as regular ninjas, except they're a little bit shorter, but they also had the pointed hats and everything. So, you know, they were ninja elves or whatever. So they come out of the shadows, and I'm like, whoa, what the hell, ninja elves? And they just start attacking me, you know? They just start, you know, doing their freaking, you know, like karate kicks or jumps or kung fu. I don't know, what kind of martial arts do ninjas usually practice? I would assume ninjutsu, but ninjutsu is not like a combat. That's more of just like a, isn't that shooting fireballs or like summoning like frogs or something? I don't know. Anyway, so they start attacking me right now. Luckily I'm me, so, you know, they were no threat. But, you know, ninja elves are a little hard to hit because, you know, a little bit shorter. I think that's the one advantage of, you know, having ninja-based elves. But anyway, so, you know, they get a couple shots out on me, but, you know, I figure this shit out, and I take, like, a good 12, 13 of these guys out. But they just keep coming. You know, these ninja elves, they are persistent motherfuckers. They will not stop. They just start popping out of the shadows, dropping from the sky. Pretty sure some of them were hiding in the sewer. That's another advantage of ninja elves. They can hide in, like, really tight spaces because, you know, they're elves, but they're also ninjas. So, you know, I'm getting surrounded by these things, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe, just maybe, I might have to put some effort into this right here. So, all of a sudden, though, out of the freaking sky, just boom, just lands right next to me, is Santa Claus. Father Christmas. He gets up and he's like, ho, 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 I'm gonna mow down these elves. So he pulls out a freaking candy katana. It's a candy cane, but it's also a katana. And he just, whoosh, and he just cuts like 7 of these motherfuckers down. And I'm like, Santa, you're awesome, man. So, you know, me and him, Santa, like tag battle, like just wipe the floor with these ninja elves. We take them all out. There's carcasses everywhere. You know, Santa has to clean the ninja elf blood off his candy katana. But, you know, after we're all done, he sheaths the thing, takes a bite out of it. That's one of the other advantages of having a candy-based katana. So I'm like, Santa, man, what's going on? Haven't seen you since that time we had to fight that dragon. And he's like, oh, man, Tekking, that was an awesome, fun time. But anyway, I got a problem, and only you can help me out with this. He's like, oh, what's up, Santa? What's going on? And he's just like, the North Pole has been invaded by ninja elves. Yes, I know. I'm aware. I figured that probably happened. Okay, so the ninja elves have invaded the North Pole. So I'm like, shit. So we gotta save Christmas now. It's like, we gotta save Christmas, buddy. And I'm like, okay, we gotta do this. So we got on his sleigh, reindeer take off, and we shoot off for the North Pole. So while we're heading to the North Pole, you know, Santa's giving me the rundown. He's just like, okay, basically, the ninja elves have taken over the entire place. They've risen this, like, evil pagoda-looking thing on top of the North Pole, crushing Santa's factory. He was mighty pissed about that, too. You do not with Santa's factory, okay? So we're riding in his sleigh, and I'm like, okay, well, we need to get prepped for battle, okay? Because there's gonna be, like, there's an entire army of these things, and then there's this leader, this like dark elf ninja, whatever the hell his name is. His name's Trinzen, I think, something stupid. Anyway, some weird Middle Earth name that I'm not going to remember in like 2 days. But anyway, so we're riding to the North Pole, you know, in the sleigh, and got the reindeer. Rudolph's in there, he's getting up for battle, he's charging up his nose. And I'm like, okay, well, we need to get suited up here. Now, luckily, we have Santa's bag of magical, you know, of toys. You know, every toy that every child wants in the world is in this magic bag. Now, luckily, we're not like back in the 1960s when all kids want is a freaking doll or like an electric train. You know, kids nowadays, the anime is pretty popular, and so are video games. So there's about, like, I think, like, I think he said like 4.7 million orders for like katana swords and like way more firearms than you could imagine in this freaking thing, especially in the inner cities, you know. So, you know, I'm pulling out freaking Desert Eagles, you know, I got Kevlar on this freaking thing, and, you know, I have a, you know, I didn't want to upstage Santa because he's the sword fighter. I don't know if you guys knew that, but Santa is like the most, he's like an expert sword fighter. He could put Roronoa or Zoro to shame. Actually, him, Zoro and Santa fought one time, actually. The results of which I think you can see in the lace chapters. He has the scar over his eye after the time skip. Yeah, Mihawk, you know, hired Santa in order to fight Zoro on one Christmas Eve to see if he could, you know, take it. And Zoro he put up a fight, but, you know, Santa landed that hit pretty damn solid. So anyway, you know, I get all set up. He's like, okay, we're ready to do this, Santa, let's do this. So, you know, we fly in the freaking North Pole, and Santa, like, pulls a switch, and he disengages all the reindeer, and all the reindeer are, like, combat suited. They're ready to go. They're all wearing this kind of armor. You know, Comet, you know, I get on Comet, and I'm like, let's do this, Comet. So we're flying around the freaking North Pole. Santa jumps on Rudolph, and Rudolph fires up his death, like, shoots his death laser, like, strikes out, like, kills, like, probably 300 of these fucking ninja elves. You know, easy. You know, we're cracking the polar ice caps as this stuff's going on. The Aurora Borealis is literally being stained red from our massacre that we're initiating. Now, you guys might be wondering exactly what the hell the ninja elves are trying to do with the North Pole. Why are they taking over the North Pole? Well, it turns out they're trying to open a spirit portal to unleash the yokai, which are like Japanese demons, upon the world. And I'm like, shit, man, you better not have done that. You know, so you're ripping off basically Kaku Ranger and Legend of Korra in the one swell swoop. I'm like, I don't even know if anyone remembers Kaku Ranger, but you don't rip off fucking Kaku Ranger. So I'm like, okay, well, this is on now. So I'm riding Comet. I unsheath my freaking sword, take out my gun, and I'm like, ah, you know, riding toward it. I land, I get out, I start cutting everybody down. Rudolph needs to recharge, so Santa jumps down. We just have to start, you know, nailing for the pagoda again to kill this Trinzen guy before he unleashes the Gate of the Damned, essentially. Yeah, so, you know, we fight through. You know, the ninja elves can, you know, they put up quite a fight, but, you know, they can't spit fireballs or anything, so honestly, they die between us. I think one reindeer died. I think it was like Vixen or Nixon or something. I don't know. One reindeer died, the unimportant one. But anyway, we eventually storm the freaking pagoda. We go on. But then, out of nowhere, zombie ninja elves. I'm like, really? Is this all we have to deal with tonight? Zombie ninja elves. You know, so all the elves that we kill, they come back to life. Well, the ones that are completely dismembered, because, hey, it doesn't matter if you come back to life. You're dismembered, you're dismembered. So, you know, now we have to deal with zombie ninja elves. And Santa at this point is getting a little bit late. He's like, okay, Tekking, I know what we're going to do. He's like, okay, it's okay, Santa. It's all right. I planned this beforehand, all right? So, emergency situation. We have Rad Tekking, Law Tekking, and Vampire Tekking all show up, riding freaking drones, crashing into the side of the freaking North Pole. They all survive somehow. Magic, whatever. Yeah, and they get out and they start taking out the zombie elves. You know, Rad Tekking's all armed up in his Gans gear, pulling the freaking gravity gun shit. Law's doing whatever. The Vampire Tekking's turning the zombies into vampires. So now we have vampire zombie ninja elves. You know, whatever. It doesn't matter. Anyway, we storm the pagoda, and we eventually get up to the main room where we have this Trinzen guy, and he's performing some kind of satanic ritual to open up this gate to open the yokai. Interesting, it's satanic when yokai is Japanese, but whatever, it doesn't matter. He's ready to open this gate and let this hell mouth and just spew everywhere. So, I'm like, Trinzen, you bastard! You know, you're gonna stop this right now! So I, like, start shooting at him, but he's just like, boom, 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 your powers are meaningless before me, Tekking. And Santa, you know, he takes out his candy katana, and he's just, like, ready to jump in and stab freaking Trinzen, but Trinzen uses his magical mind telepathy powers to stop Santa directly in the air, and he smashes him into the ground. I'm like, no, Santa! And that's when I run over to Santa, and he's not looking good, ladies and gentlemen. He's bleeding out some serious eggnog. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm like, Santa, what am I gonna do? And he's just like, Tekking, you need to save Christmas. It's in your hands. Ugh. And he's gone. I'm like, Santa, no! You killed Santa, you bastard! And that's when I unsheath my true Shinigami powers, and my Zanpakuto, and I shoot a thunder cannon right up Trinzen's ass, and I shoot him into the portal, and the portal gets imploded on itself out of the sheer awesomeness of this moment. I really wish it was animated, but sorry, I mean, this is just going off my memory here. And, you know, the freaking Hellmouth begins sucking in the pagoda, and all the evil zombie, vampire, ninja, elven creatures, whatever. I think another reindeer got sucked in. I don't know, what was it, Cupid or something gets sucked in. And in all this chaos, my name tag, which I was still wearing because I had work earlier that day, because, you know, I like to go on walks after work. You know, I just never, this shit usually doesn't happen. But anyway, yeah, my name tag gets sucked into the 9th dimension and probably got eaten by Cthulhu. So, you know, after this is all over, it's closed up, and the magical power of all the children's wishes brings Santa Claus back to life, and he's like, oh, as long as people believe in me, I can never die. You know, I'm like, oh, I know a manga character kind of like that, where you just have to say his name and he comes back to life. You know, crazy. You and him actually look a lot alike, Santa. So, you know, I got on Comet, and Comet took me back home, and I landed, and I finished my walk, and everything was good. All the Tekkings were alright, everybody survived. So, yeah, I told my boss this, and she told me to go back to work. And I mean, I don't know. Maybe she wasn't really that impressed. Maybe she thought I was just so stupid, because that's like such a common way people lose their stuff. You know, I mean, that's like saying like, oh, I lost it under the couch, and she's like, Matthew, really? You lost it under the couch? Okay, that's weird. Here's a new one. You know, maybe she thought like that. It was like such a simple way people lose their stuff. But anyway. Yeah, I hope that the story was a little bit interesting. I don't know, it was kind of bland to me a little bit there in the middle, but that's what happened. So yeah, I hope everyone had a Merry Christmas. I mean, I don't want to toot my own horn or anything, but it was because of me if you had a good Christmas. Just saying. Yeah, right. But anyway, yeah. See ya, guys. Tekking signing out. Whatever.